All right. Okay, guys. So we'll go ahead and get started. Let's see. We have a couple of newbies on tonight. Like they just joined. So that's awesome.
Yay.
Yeah. All right. So many of you know Jana Hooten. Some of you are new, so you don't. But Jana is our Sapphire upline. Sorry. There it goes. And she is on the Slim Sisters page. Her and her sister do the Slim Sisters page where you can find all kinds of great information on there. But Jana promoted to Sapphire and July? Is it July?
Yes.
I think it's July. Yep. Yeah, and she just got back from Maui, so that is awesome. But she has just been a huge encouragement to me. She's reached out to me in many ways, and I just love you. You've just been an inspiration to me.
That's awesome. I love you too.
Yeah. So her and I were talking, and talking about some things we can do, and I love the idea of doing a Zoom call. Just with our upline and getting to know them and hearing what advice they have for us. So anyway, I'm like, yeah, let's schedule a date. So here we are. And Jana is just going to share from her heart whatever she has for us. And then there'll be like a question time at the end. So if you guys have any questions, be thinking that she can answer. So anyways, you go ahead, Jana. You just take it away. And we are prepared to hear whatever you have for us.
All right. Hey, do we have a time limit or anything? I mean, I'm not going to keep y'all forever, but I just was kind of wondering if you had a time.
No, not really. I mean, I set it up for a long event, but I mean, we can spend whatever. No, I have the whole package deal. So,
okay, awesome.
But I do want to go ahead and pray. I was forgetting that. So let's go ahead and pray just to start it out, and then we'll get started. You just jump in, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. Dear Lord, I thank you so much for bringing us here tonight, and I thank you for each and every person on this call, Lord. I know that you have them on here for a reason, and I just know how much that we've grown and just in our business, and just help us not to take it for granted, Lord. Help us just to be just good stewards and just, of our time and everything, God. I pray that you'll just bless tonight. Just give us the words to say. I thank you so much for Jana and being willing to do this and reach out to the team. And just thank you again. In your name, amen.
Amen. All right. So I'm super excited to do this because it's fun for me to be able to do these kind of things. I love getting to I see some of your faces. I know a lot of you are on here through the phone. So, but I love seeing faces and connecting with you guys so that then when we're chatting on the Slim Sisters page or whatever, I can put a face with a name. So, and plus I just like for you guys to get to know me because I want everybody on our team to feel comfortable reaching out to me or to my sister, Amber. It gets confusing because we got two Ambers. But so just so you know, it's me, then Amber Livesey, which is my sister, and we run the Slim Sisters page, and then Amy Triplett, and then your Amber Sheffield is signed up directly under Amy. So I knew Amy Triplett before Plexus, but I did not know Amber. So it has been fun getting to know her. We got to spend time at Leaders Retreat last year and then convention. So it's been a blast getting to know her. I love her and love her heart, and she has a huge heart for her team. So I love that about her. So I was thinking about tonight and just trying to think about and pray about what I wanted to share with you guys. And I am going to do a question and answer at the end, but I'm going to really just share with you what I would say. And sometimes this changes a little bit as depending on where I am in my business and where I see the team as a whole is. But what I would say is the 6 keys to really growing your business. So I'm going to share those with you. So if you have pen and paper, you might want to grab those. I know Amber is recording this as well, so you can go back and listen. But I just want to share these with you, and I'm not going to spend a long time. And obviously, after I get done, you guys can feel free to ask any questions at all that you have. I think most of you have heard my story, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. I've been with Plexus now. Tomorrow will be 2 years that I joined. 2 years ago tomorrow I joined. I only joined for the discount. I had already been taking the products and had major changes in my health. And Sunday said those magic words. I tell everybody they were like magic words. She said, sign up and get the discount. And so didn't know what I was doing, just followed her directions and trusted her and signed up for the discount. And, the last 2 years have been amazing. They've been crazy. They've been awesome. My 11-year-old here is over here saying awesome. They have been a roller coaster at times, but I have learned so much about myself and about network marketing in general. And it has been a wild ride that the Lord has put us on, but such a rewarding one. So obviously I'm learning stuff every day. And to me, that's fun. I enjoy learning. And so I am learning so much about this industry, so much about our company, about leadership. So I still have so much to learn, but hopefully I'll throw some things out there tonight that maybe you guys can take and run with, and maybe something that you can learn that will help you in your business, and maybe even some things just help you in general in life and in being a leader. So I'm just going to, like I said, I'm going to run down the list. I'm going to do 6 things. So number 1 would be to develop your dreams, your goals, and your objectives. So we talk about this a lot. We talk about your why. This would lump all into the same category, in my opinion, of why you're doing this. So what are your dreams? What are your goals with this business, and what are your objectives? I'll tell you, when I first started, my main thing was when I first started working the business, my main thing was I wanted to make enough money to cover a car payment. And that's fine. If that's your first goal, then that's a great goal. Something like that is a great goal. Now, obviously, as my business has grown, my dreams have gotten bigger. My goals have gotten bigger. So they will change over time. And that's why it's important to me to write them down. You really, really need to write them down. You need to identify your dream. Ask yourself, if time and money wasn't a factor, what would your life look like? So for some people, that would mean a bigger house. For some people, that would mean giving more to missions. For some people, that would mean going on a cruise around the world. I don't know what it is for you, but you need to identify it and think about it and visualize it. So then I would tell you to write them down. Like we said, studies have shown that very few people have actually written dreams and goals. Yet those who do achieve high levels of success, they are the ones who do write them down and they revisit them. So you need to come back and I say every day, break down your goals and your dreams and come back to visit them. And that's what's going to carry you through sometimes the hard time, is when you can come back to those goals and those dreams that you have. So then the next step in that same topic is you need to break down the steps that you need to take to achieve that dream. So you've got this dream, you've written it down. What are the next steps that you need to take to achieve that dream? And then break them down into bite-sized objectives. So every day, like we said, you're going to review your dreams and your goals, and you're going to break them down into bite-sized objectives of how exactly it is that you're going to get there. This, to me, when I first heard some of this stuff seemed, I don't know, I was just like, just tell me. I'm such a practical person that I just was like, just tell me what to do. Just tell me, to post on Facebook. Tell me to message people. I just like tangible, I don't know if tangible is the word, but, just realistic things, tools that you can give me to work my business. But I can't tell you how important this one is. Like, this is where you need to start. You need to start because this is why you're going to be doing what you're going to do. And if you don't know exactly why it is that you're doing this, it's going to make it hard for you to work your business with any passion. It's going to make it hard for you to work your business on those hard days. So to me, this is a really big one, and one that I really would encourage you, if you haven't done it yet, to sit down and do it. And like I said, revisit it often, because they're going to change. As your business grows, your visions and your dreams, that your goals are going to change. Okay, so number 2 would be one 4-letter little word called work. I know it sounds funny, and probably people are thinking, really? Like, that's one of your best tools, but it really is. Multi-level marketing has probably produced more millionaires than any other industry. It really has. But there's one thing that sets apart the people that are successful in this industry and the people that aren't. and it's that 4-letter word, work. So this is not, in case I hate to burst anybody's bubble, but this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Yes, there is incredible money to be made here, but that's not what this is about. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme here. So the only way that you're going to be successful through this company is through hard work. But now let me tell you, I know a lot of you probably have like full-time jobs. I know a lot of you are thinking, okay, well, I don't have 40 hours to put into this business. That's totally okay. If you have 10 hours a week and you can say, I'm going to devote 10 hours a week to this job, then you need to get out a planner. You need to schedule out those 10 hours a week. You can't just say to yourself, okay, I'm going to devote 10 hours a week. And you think, oh, I'm going to put in a little bit of time here and a little bit of time there. If you actually go back and look at how much time you put into it, you might see that you're not even putting close to 10 hours into it. And I'm not saying you have to put 10 hours into this. I'm saying, you have to go back, first of all, to number one, where you've identified your goals and you've identified your dreams, and then the work that you're going to put into this business obviously needs to match that. Does that make sense? So that it needs to match whatever your goals or dreams are. If your goal is just to make $400 a month, maybe to make your car payment, then you might get by with just working a few hours a month. But if your goal is to replace your full-time income, then obviously that's going to require more work and more time to put into your business. So take a daily planner, block out those available time slots of whatever it is you've decided you're going to work for your business. So I want you to remember that work isn't checking your email. It isn't surfing Facebook or just surfing the web. Work is prospecting, presenting, following up, sponsoring new ambassadors, training, and support. That's work. That's what's going to get you far in this company and get you far with Plexus. So as your network builds, as your team grows, you can devote more time to training and support, but never, ever, ever stop prospecting, or I'm telling you, your business will die. If you get out of that mode of where you're looking for someone new to add onto your team, and all you do is spend your time working with your already established team, it will not be successful for you. So always, as your team grows, and some of you are new, so maybe that you're not to that point yet, and that's okay. But as your team grows, you'll see that. So you always want to make sure that you go back and that you are in that mode. So that's number 2. Oh, and I just kind of wanted to add on something to this. Talking about work and putting in the time. I can't tell you how many jewels that I have talked to over just the last little bit that talk about this. And they talk about when their business took off was when, for a lot of them, it was when they decided to give up television. So think about how many hours a week. I mean, some of you may not, but I know a lot of people they've got their shows, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But just when you're thinking about your time and how much time you can devote to your business, is it something you're willing to give up? So when I was in Maui a few weeks ago, I was sitting on the beach and I got to talking to a lady sitting next to me, and my husband were sitting there, and her husband were sitting there. And I was looking at her, and I was thinking, man, she looks familiar, other than just seeing her on Facebook. I thought, I know I've met her. I met her, come to find out, I figured it all out, and we were laughing about it. I met her at convention like a year and a half ago in Dallas. And we met in the store. And at that time, neither one of us, I think she was like gold or senior gold, and I may have just hit ruby. And we just got to talking, and we actually took a picture together. And that's why I recognized her. We've come and how our businesses have grown. And she was saying that, she said that what they did, her husband was there with her, and he's almost emerald. And she said, he's the chef in the family. He loves to cook, and he loves watching all the cooking shows. And she said that he came to her and said, I'm going to give up watching those, and we're going to spend that time that I used to watch those every night, and we're going to spend that time, and we'll sit down together, and we're going to work your business. And it kind of gives me goosebumps thinking about it, because that's what it took. That was all it took. So when you think about that and think about, well, really all they gave up was a few TV shows every night. And that's what it took for them to work their business. And they were in Maui, and they've built a great team. Like I said, I think she's Emerald. She may be close to Sapphire, and he's close to Emerald. So, just think about, I know a lot of people are super busy, and I know a lot of times that's a major issue for people. But just think about, what is it in my life that maybe I could give up? And if your dreams and your goals are that important to you, then you'll be, willing to give those things up. Okay, number 3, be consistently persistent. So I love that phrase, be consistently persistent. Most people, I'll tell you, when they get into this, they give up way too early. When they get into it for the business side of it, they give up way too early. So a lot of times people get into it and they expect to maybe make, I was going to say $1,000 a month, but honestly, for those of you that have been doing it for a while, know that making $1,000 your first month is actually very doable if you just put a little time and effort into it. So I'm going to say 10,000. Some people get into it and they think, I'm going to make $10,000 my very first month. And when they don't, a lot of times that's when they want to quit, because they haven't, like we said, they were expecting something like a get-rich-quick scheme. When you're consistently persistent, you know that you're going to have to contact a lot of people. You're going to have to give a lot of presentations. You're going to have to get out there and present Plexus to a lot of people. You're going to have to deal with rejection. It will come. And I was sitting down with an ambassador yesterday who said in the very beginning, a girl she was talking to just rejected her, almost rudely rejected her. And guess who her brand new customer is? It's that girl that rejected her months ago. So sometimes if we've got to really think through rejection and know that a lot of times those people do come back around, and know that when people do reject us with Plexus, when they say no to buying our products or no to joining our team, they're not necessarily saying no to me as a person. They're just saying no to Plexus. So when you can separate those, it makes it a lot easier to deal with rejection, because it will come from time to time. But let me tell you, the person who is consistently persistent will succeed. The person that puts in the work, the person who's always out there contacting someone new, making that next presentation, they're the person who will succeed. So if you are duplicating a successful system, the only thing separating you from being successful is just time. So when things are looking dark, when you think I'm not getting anybody, that's when you keep going. That's when you make one more call, or you talk to one more person, or you follow up with one more person that you've talked to in the past. So be consistently persistent. That's number 3. Number 4, and I love this one. This is probably one of my favorites, and I had trouble deciding which order I wanted to share these in, but I love this one. Make 1 million friends. So go out with the idea, start this business with the idea of making 1 million friends instead of making $1 million. So sometimes we get into it and we are thinking about the financial success. And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of us, that's what we want. It's what we want for our families. We want that financial freedom for our families. But when you look at it and you kind of reverse it and you think, I'm just going to look at this to build relationships, because that's what this is. This is relationship marketing. And so when you look at it as, I'm going to work on making 1 million friends, or maybe say, I'm going to make 1,000 friends instead of making $1,000. Because when you do that, when you build the relationships, that's when the business comes. So constantly be working on your relationships, not just because of Plexus. Obviously, it's just a good thing in general to be a good friend, to work on those relationships, to be giving to others, to be serving others. But when that happens as well, your business grows as well. So you can only be successful if you help others become successful. I love the post that I put out today about the farmer. If you guys didn't check that out on Slim Sisters page, it kind of goes right along with this. I won't tell y'all about it. Y'all can go to the Slim Sisters page and read that though. So sometimes I know for me, you can get kind of wrapped up in thinking, I need another new ambassador, I need another new customer. But a lot of times when I'm struggling in that area, if I'll put that aside and I'll just focus on helping someone else be successful, that's when I find the success comes for me personally as well. Obviously, this is called servant leadership, and you lead by serving those that you lead. So the more friends you make and serve, the greater your successes will be. All right, so that's my number 4, make 1 million friends, and I love that one. I think if we can kind of change our thinking to that instead of making it about the financial side of it, then that's when things really change for a lot of people. So it's one thing, too, to have this knowledge, and we know it, but it's another thing to actually do some of these things and to go out and be that servant leader and to go out and think about helping other people be successful and helping other people grow their team. Sometimes it's hard to put aside what we're needing because maybe we're needing that for our family. Maybe we're really depending on that. But you'd be surprised when you can put that aside and when you can think about what someone else is needing, you'll be surprised at what will turn around and happen for your team and for your business. All right, so let me go back here. Number 5 is, okay, I saved these last 2 because I feel like they're probably the most important. Well, I don't know. I think they're all important. But I just think these 2 to me stand out the most to me when I'm talking to someone. And they also stand out to me in the people that I see really being successful with this because I made a post a while back. I'm a people watcher. I don't know about you guys, but my husband gets irritated with me because we go to restaurants sometimes and I'll find myself people watching and trying to figure out like relationships and trying to figure things. I don't know why I do it. I don't know that I'm nosy. I just like to people watch. So I think it's just my hobby, I guess. So I noticed myself in Maui really watching Jules and really trying to figure out what makes a lot of them tick because they're all so different. And that's another thing I love about this is it doesn't matter what your personality is. I have promised you, I have met them all that have been successful. It really doesn't matter what your personality is. If you can take these tools that we've talked about and apply them into your business, you can be successful with Plexus. But these couple things that I'm fixing to talk about is things that I've noticed is pretty standard across the board with the Jules. It's things that they may have way different personalities. They all may train totally different. They may go about, prospecting for new people totally different. But these couple things are things that they do across the board for the most part. So number 5 would be to be coachable. And what I mean by that is, I can tell you right off the bat, when someone joins my team, I can usually tell you right off the bat who the rock stars are going to be. And it's the people that ask lots of questions. It's the people that want to learn. It's the people that are hungry, and you give them an assignment and you tell them to go make a list of 100 people that they know, and they have it done by the next day, and they're wanting something else to do to help grow their business. Those are the people that are coachable. They want to learn. They're hungry for it. And so those are the people that honestly that they're going to take off and they're going to be successful. And it is something, and when you talk to Jules and you'll hear their story of how they got started. That's how the majority of them were. They wanted to know what to do, how to do it, and then they went and did it. It wasn't that they just listened. They went and did the work. They put in the work like we talked about it a little bit ago. So multi-level marketing, or network marketing, whatever you want to call this, is a total business of duplication. All right? It is 100% duplication. So those who've already been successful with Plexus, they are willing to share their secrets with you. They're willing to share their tips. And like I said, sometimes I think we think there's some secret, and there's not, just in case y'all haven't figured that one out yet. I was like, wish Celeste would just tell us her secret. What is her secret? Her secret is hard work. I talked to some of her level 1s in Maui. And you see this Celeste, or you see, some of the other rock stars that you hear about, and you just see pictures of them, and they're up on stage talking, and that's what you see. what you don't see is the behind the scenes work. And after talking to some of her level ones, I was like, oh my goodness, those women are hard workers, but they are, they know how to balance. They know how to balance their life and balance their family with their work. And when they sit down to work, they work. They don't, do like I do sometimes and get wrapped up in the whole Facebook newsfeed. So they know how to discipline themselves and to put in the work that is needed. But they have been successful with Plexus. They know what works. They know what doesn't. And all we have to do is listen. All we have to do is listen to those who have gone before us and learn from it and duplicate it. So you guys are all on Amber's team. Amber has Amy Triplett's fabulous. Amy Triplett's very there for her team. She can tell you what can work and what doesn't. And obviously then she signed up under my sister Amber, and Amber's very reachable. She's very, tangible. You can reach out to her at any time. And so those people, they've kind of gone ahead. All you have to do is find out what they've done and duplicate it. So people that try to come in and try to maybe reinvent the wheel, you find a lot of times it really doesn't work. I'm not saying new ideas aren't great, because a lot of times there's a need for some new, fresh ideas, but don't try to reinvent the wheel. But yet take what Amber's taught you, take what Amy has taught you, and just duplicate it with your team. And you've seen them be successful. You've seen the success from your upline, and that's really all it takes. But the key to that is actually doing the duplication. So whatever the training you've received, pass that on down to your team. Make sure you're getting on the phone with them. Make sure they're getting trained, and that they know to reach out to you, that they know to come to you, and that they know then, if you're not available, that they can go to Amber. And that's really important stuff, that you pass that down. Otherwise, what happens is if you don't continue passing that down, that your team will come to a halt, and it's impossible to keep growing past that. So that's important. This business is nothing but a business of duplication. So make sure that you are reaching out to your upline, but then make sure you're passing down what you've learned to your team as well. Okay. So, and that goes for, if you have one ambassador, just one, you have a team. So that's important to make sure that you are passing that down. Okay. So the last thing that I would tell you, and it's, if you had asked me, a year ago, probably this would probably not been at the top of my list. But it's something that I wish so bad that I had started off with. And that is developing yourself as a leader. I can't even tell you, I've talked to you about a lot of things. I think they're all important, but this is the number one thing that I would tell you is probably the most important, is to be working on yourself as a leader. So you come from great leadership with this Plexus team. For those of you that are new, I'm telling you this, and I don't say this, lightly. You have great leadership in Amber and Amy and my sister Amber. You have leadership that's there for you, that, you can reach out to probably the majority of them at any point during the day and get an answer right back. So you have leadership that wants to see you succeed. So learn from that leadership, and then work on developing the leader in you, and taking the reins and leading your team, taking what you've learned. And it kind of goes back to that duplication, taking what you've learned from your leadership, and then leading your team, as well. So you have, it's just so important to make sure that you are doing that, and you're not constantly relying on your upline, because your team wants to see you step out and be a leader. Your team wants to see that, oh, okay, look, she is leading us. She knows what she's talking about. She knows the answers to my questions. And if she doesn't know, she knows where to find the answers to my questions. And your team wants to see that, because they want to make sure, they want to know that they can trust you. They want to know that They can come to you, that you're going to help them grow. And so it's really important. One of the things I always talk about is really developing your leadership skills. And John Maxwell, if you've heard me talk much at all on the Slim Sisters calls, he's one of my favorites. I posted one of his 1-minute videos today. I love his little 1-minute videos. They're just inspiring. But his book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, if you want a place to start, this right here is a place to start. Really, any of John Maxwell's books, in my opinion, would be a great place to start, because the majority of them are all about leadership. And they're practical. They are easy to read and easy to understand, but they will help you grow. And it's important for you to develop leadership skills. You'll be shocked whenever you really start working on those skills at how it affects everything in your life, how it affects your parenting, how it affects maybe you at your job if you are in any type of leadership role at your job. And it will definitely play a factor in how you help your team, and you'll be surprised at how your team will grow. When your team really sees you stepping up and being that leader, you'll be shocked at how your team will actually grow from that. So that's why it's my number one. I know I saved it for last, but it's really probably my number one. A couple more things about that. You are in charge of your business. That's the beauty of this. We're all on a team, and it's really cool because it's your business. It's what you make of your business. But yet then you have this whole team that's there supporting you, and we're cheering for you, and we're helping you grow, and we're wanting to, help you succeed. But it is your business. So what you put into it and what you decide to do with it is really up to you. You're in charge of your own business. And when it comes to leadership as well, your team, when I look at my team, sometimes I have to realize that I want it for them sometimes more than they want it. And I'm sure Amber's probably felt that same way. It's hard sometimes because sometimes I see people on my team and I want it for them so bad. And I can't want it for them bad enough. They have to want it. So you have to really want it. Your upline can't want it for you. You have to want it, and you have to be willing to learn, to be coachable, and then to put in the work that it's going to take. One thing I'll tell you, once you start growing a team, if you get stuck in a rut, the first thing I always look at when someone's telling me, I've added some people, or maybe I've even got to gold, or, wherever you are in your business and you get stuck in a rut, because they do happen, the number one thing I always say is, when's the last time you recruited someone? When's the last time you personally signed someone up? Because if you are not still recruiting people, then and your team is not growing, that is why. So we talked about that a little bit earlier, but I'm telling you, I see it happen a lot where people sign up, they're 3 people, they get to silver, and then they're thinking, oh, okay, now they're going to sign up 3. Well, I hate to say it, but it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes those 3 people are just wholesale buyers. Sometimes, one of them maybe wants to work the business. So that's why I'm still, after 2 years, my husband's in there on the phone right now with a guy that sold us a car several years ago, talking to him about signing up. So we're constantly thinking and praying about who God will bring on our team, and, who he wants on our team. And we're constantly in that mode. And then obviously I'm still in leadership mode as well. So you have to be there. But if you get stuck in a rut, think to yourself, when's the last time I sponsored someone? Your team needs to see you sponsoring people. And then just the last thing on leadership is, when you do start growing as a leader, sometimes it's hard because I think a lot of times for us as moms, we're nurturing. We have little ones maybe at home. We want to hold our little ones' hands and help guide them. So we want to bring that over into our business. And we can't do that. We have to lead. And then, like we talked about, let them decide where they want to take this business. But we can't hold their hands. The team has to decide, or the person has to decide what they want to do, for their business, how far they want to take it. And so it all comes into, that leadership role and knowing where your boundaries are with that as well. And the same goes in the reverse. You guys are on Amber's team and Amy's team and my Amber's team. I always have to say my Amber. You can't rely on them. If you are, then maybe you need to kind of rethink things, because it's your business. They're just there as your support and your help. And trust me, they want you to be successful. I know those girls and I know their hearts, and they want you to be successful. But you've got to go back of what all we talked about and come up with your dreams and your goals, and you have to put in the work. And obviously what they've done is successful. They've been successful with it, so it's duplicatable, and you can take those things, those tools that they've given you, and you can run with it, and you can start growing a team. So it works both ways. It works as you're growing a team and you're the leader. And then it also works as you are, looking to your upline as well. So I hope that makes sense. So those are my 6 tips that I would say right now are probably just my top tips. And I know sometimes people get on these calls and they're like, but we want you to tell us what to do. What do I do? Like, how do I go get a new ambassador tomorrow? It all goes back to make those million friends. Make those friendships, work on your relationships, because that's where it's going to come from. That's where those new people on your team, that's where they're going to come from. This is relationship marketing. And I'm always shocked at who does actually end up joining our team, but it's somebody that through the years we've had a relationship with, and maybe I've tried to cultivate that relationship. And there's no secret or big, I wish there was, but there's just not. It's really about those relationships and growing those relationships, and then sharing with them, hey, this is what I'm doing, I want you to join me. Obviously, if you really want some just basic tips, you can't beat Facebook. If you're not posting on Facebook, if you're new, Facebook will be one of your best tools. Amber does a fabulous job of posting on Facebook. I know a lot of her business has been built from that. And so it is at mine as well. Of course, Facebook all goes back to relationships, right? So when we're talking about that, I mean, that's what Facebook is. So Facebook, you can't beat it, but if you are new, I encourage you to really talk to your upline before you just start posting on Facebook. There's a few, do's and don'ts of how to do it and to do it correctly and not to run people off. So I would encourage you to do that and talk to them as well. All right, I think that's it. I think that's all I got, Amber. I'm done.
Oh, thank you so much, Jana.
You're welcome.
That was great. All of that was great. So I really like how you talked about making a million friends and, just thinking of them as friends, and just the developing a leader. That is huge. I understand. That's something I wish I would have done more in the beginning too. So I totally understand that. But, so anyway, so guys, if you guys have any questions for Jana, we are going to do that at this time. So is it best, Jana, to use the chat feature, you think?
Yeah, I mean, we can do that, or however you want to do it, or they can just unmute and ask. That's fine as well.
Okay, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to just unmute real quick, or you can use the chat feature either way, and go ahead and just ask whatever's on your mind, and she'll try to help you. So we'll just wait here and hopefully not be awkward silence. Somebody ask me something. Anybody?
Okay, I'll unmute because I can't type that fast.
Okay.
Okay, under number 2, work.
Yep.
Perspective, presenting, follow-up. What were the other?
Okay. It was, work is prospecting, presenting, following up, sponsoring new ambassadors, training, and support.
Okay.
Did you get all that?
I did.
And that's when you think about putting in work, that right there is work. And I love the 5-3-1 method. Okay, so somebody said say it one more time. Okay, so it's prospecting, presenting, following up, sponsoring new ambassadors, training, and then support. And when you think about it, that's the order it kind of goes in. I mean, that's the order of, when you're looking for someone new, and then you're always providing that support. When someone does sign up, that's your role from then on is after you've really done a basic training with them, then you're there for support. You're there to help them grow. So, the 5-3-1 method. Do you guys know about the 5-3-1 method, or that you can do 3-2-1? I love that. I love that method as well. So,
would you mind sharing that real quick for the newbies?
Yes. 5-3-1, or you can do it as 3-2-1. So when you're thinking about putting in your work each day, or you don't have to work your business every day, but you do need to set aside what times during the week you're going to work it. So if you're going to work it 3 days a week for an hour each day, set aside that time and sit down and work it. So 5 is contacting 5 new people. So when I say contacting them, one of my favorite things to do that's actually been successful for me, I have over the course of a long time ended up contacting every single person on my Facebook friends list. So I have contacted them. I have there's somewhere a post on our page about this. I contact them through a message. I'm a little braver now than I used to be, and actually will pick up the phone and call people. But in the beginning, that was really scary for me, and it still is. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie. It's still scary to me. I'm not my sister. My sister can just be like, "Blah," and talk to anybody, and I'm like, "Oh no." So it still scares me a little bit, but I just got brave enough to where I was like, I can send them a message. All they can do is ignore it or tell me no, or actually maybe tell me yes. That's the only options they really have there. And you'll be surprised. There'll be a lot of people that ignore it, but that's okay. I send messages and just say, hey, Sue, long time since we talked. I love keeping up with you on Facebook. Love seeing pictures of your kiddos. Hey, I would love to tell you more about Plexus sometime. It's been a life changer. Maybe, and you share your story. It's been a life changer for our health. It's been a game changer for our finances. And I just love to share more with you about it. Don't send them a book. That's the number one rule. Please don't go sending them 5 paragraphs of information. You'll have lost them. They won't read it. Keep it really, really short and sweet. And you'll be shocked at how many people. Well, I say you'll be shocked. It's weird. Some days I'll do it and I'll get several people respond back to me. And then other days I'll send out 15 messages and I won't hear back from one of them. So, you just never know. I might actually hear back from them like 3 months later and be like, hey, that message you sent me way back in April. So yeah, that's one of my things that I like to do is doing it that way. Or, if you're brave enough, pick up the phone and calling people. There are people that I'm comfortable enough to pick up the phone and be like, hey, you're my friend. I want to tell you about Plexus. Just listen to me. I just want to tell you for a few minutes. So that's your 5. Your 3 is following up with 3 people. So obviously you're going to have to make some contacts first before you can start following up. And when I send someone, so, going back to when I send someone a message, I haven't heard from her yet. You might try to call her. Sorry, that was my husband. So 3 is following up, like I said. So when I sent people those messages and they ignore me, because that happens a lot, I will go back in later and be like, hey, I'll go back in a month later and say, hey, I was wondering if you saw my message I sent you. I really would love to share Plexus with you. No pressure at all. But when could we talk? That's another little trick I've learned is to always end a message or end a text with a question. Mm-hmm. And end it with the question mark. That's the last thing you put in it. People are much more likely to respond when you end it with a question and just say, hey, when can we chat? So end it with a question. That's following up. So every day you're going to reach out to 5 people. Every day you're going to follow up with 3 people. And follow up may also be someone who maybe somebody liked your Facebook post. And it's somebody that you don't think is doing Plexus. and they liked it. And so you follow up with them and say, hey, thanks so much for liking my Facebook post. I really appreciate the support. And say, I would love to share Plexus with you sometime. When could we chat? So that's following up with somebody, or following up with somebody who's maybe shown a little interest in the past. Maybe they've commented on a status, or maybe they have messaged you and said, you've had that little bit of conversation going, and then sometimes, I'm sure some of you can relate. You'll have a conversation going, and then all of a sudden it's just silence, and you're like, "What happened?" That's the people to follow up with. That happens. So I'm telling you all this stuff. I like for people to know what will happen when you're talking to people, because I'm always shocked at how things go sometimes. But you'll have people that ignore you. You'll have people that'll talk and then just stop the conversation and you don't hear back from them. And then you'll have people that'll keep that conversation going. But the key to it when you're messaging people, when you're following up with people, is to not overload them with information. I've seen that happen so many times, where we get all excited and we do like what Lori Harrison talked about the other night. We Tigger bounce them, and we're like, whoa, I'm going to come in and I'm going to show you everything I know about Plexus. And I'm going to send you a 15-page document about why you should be in Plexus. That's a bad route to take, because you're going to turn people off. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to read it, and they're going to stop the conversation. So always keep in mind, this is relationship marketing. And so you're not trying to sell them on something. You're just trying to have conversation with them. You're talking to them. You're telling them why you love Plexus. You're telling them why you love the products, and why you love the business, and why you think. I tell people why I think, and I try to really personalize it, why I think they would be good in this business. They have this personality trait. They have, I see this in them. You're great at this. People are drawn to you because of this character trait that you have, and those would make you great in this business. And I try to personalize them and let them know why I think they would be. And so that's how you want your conversation to be with them. I made the mistake in the beginning of sending people literally, like it was like a 6-page document with all these facts and ingredient lists. And you will get asked for those. You'll get people that say, I want to know what the ingredients are. You'll get people that are much more scientific minded. They want to know why it works and how it works and where it's made and all this crazy stuff. So you'll get people like that, and that's where your upline will assist you in helping you find those answers. But just always keep in mind, for the most part, you just want to keep the conversation rolling. So 5 is reaching out to 5 new people. 3 is following up with 3 people, and 1 is training someone. So that can actually be yourself. If you're brand new, then you need to be training yourself. When my sister and I first got started, I can remember many nights telling her, come over to my house, and I'd get Sonia Dudley in. We'd get on my computer, get it on the TV, and we would watch Sonia Dudley videos. Like we'd watch 5 in a row. And that's training yourself. Your upline can help you. There's so many great videos out there, and that's how I learn. I learn so much better. I'm visual, and so I need someone to show me things rather than just reading. Sonia Dudley's great. I love, for products, I love Ami Darling. I love Jennifer Pickett. I love Sarah Marble. I love Tamara Holloway. There's so many people out there that you can get on their videos, and they get addictive, and you just want, if you're at all ready to see this business grow, it's sometimes I have to make myself turn them off, because I really get into watching them. So obviously, if you're growing a team, then that 1 can be you actually training someone else. So sorry, I took way too long describing 531, but
no, you're fine. You're fine. I appreciate that. Yeah. Anybody else have any questions? Just go ahead and unmute and say it, or you can type it in the chat.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay. How many hours a week or per day do you work the business?
That's a really good question. Honestly, and I don't want to put anybody off So when I first started, I will tell you, I committed to working 20, 30 minutes a day, and that's what I did for a long time. So for you new people, I want you to know that. I did that for a long time. We have since, my husband is a police officer, and he was working, police officers work tons of part-time police jobs, and that's what my husband did to keep us going. And he was working probably 70 hours a week. He has since quit all of those. So he's now just down to working his 40 hours a week, regular shifts. And so as our business has grown, we've been able to do that. So obviously for me now, it's very worth it to me. I put in a lot more time than 30 minutes a day. But I will also say I'm a mom. I homeschool my kids. My kids go to a university model school. So that means they go to school Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we homeschool Tuesday, Thursday. So we have homeschooled all day. And in between subjects, I've got online and answered a few questions and posted a few things on the team page, and then went back to homeschooling. So, they're super involved in sports, and that's my goal. I want to be a mom. I want to be here for my kiddos. I wanted my husband to be home more. So to answer your question, it's kind of hard because there's days I feel like I maybe put in 20 minutes into it. And then honestly, I've had days where I felt like I put 5 or 6 hours into it that day. It just so depends on what's going on. It depends on the time of the month that we're in. Obviously the end of the month to me is a bigger push, and it sometimes requires a little bit more time depending on if people are trying to reach those rank advancements and that kind of thing. But I will tell you, the amount of work you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. It's so, so true. It really, really is. But there's a difference between just putting in a lot of hours and working smart. So hopefully what I shared with you tonight, you learn that you can go into this, and I know people still working full-time jobs. I know women still working. I've got a friend who owns her own hair salon and works full-time at a hair salon because she doesn't want to quit. That's her passion. She loves doing it. But she's also an Emerald Ambassador of Plexus. I know another girl who owns her own psychology practice, and she doesn't want to quit. That's what she feels called to do. And so I think she's Sapphire now. So I'm just, I point that out because it can most definitely be done. It's all a matter of finding that balance and finding the discipline to work when you say you are going to work. But yeah, like tomorrow I'll probably put quite a few more hours in than I did today. I just don't, I say hours, but I'll probably put in several hours tomorrow. Other than this call tonight, and I kind of took down some notes for this call a little bit ago. I spent probably 20 minutes kind of gathering some notes for it. And then I've posted several Facebook things today and answered a few questions. But it's something I love because I can do it on the go. I can answer a question real quick in between subjects. I can, make that Facebook post whenever I'm, the dinner's on the stove and I'm waiting for it to finish. So yeah. I can do that kind of thing and still be mom, be wife, be mom.
And I totally understand that. I do the same thing with homeschooling my kids. So like in between breaks, so it's time for lunch, and then I go do something. So, yeah.
The other thing I found about myself is if you had asked me 2 years ago, I would have told you I'm a night owl. And I still sometimes find myself staying up late, but it's amazing to me how whenever you really start working on yourself as a leader, little things like that start to change. I'm now a morning person. Mm-hmm. Like I'm up at 5:30, which I'm going to scare people off, but it's because I want to, and I want to get in bed earlier. I want a good night's sleep. I know it makes me a better person. I know it helps me as a mom and a wife, and I know it makes me a better leader. And then I can get up early. And somebody messaged me this morning. They're like, "Girl, you're up posting. What time is it there?" And at that point, it was like 6:30. I'm like, "It's like already 6:30. I've been up for a while." And so it's amazing those little changes that come along in your life whenever you really start, working on your leadership skills. A lot of times those things kind of happen. So I'm not saying a leader can't be a night owl, because he can be for sure. I'm just saying in my own personal self, that's the things that's happened. So
that's cool.
I hope that helps, Laura. I know I didn't give you a specific amount of hours, but it really does change.
That helps. Thank you.
Yeah. A 90-day game plan. Are you talking about like a 90-day game plan for ambassadors?
I think he's talking about Eric Worre. I think.
Oh, okay, yeah. I have not done that myself, but I do know what you're talking about actually now. I have not done it myself, and I'm trying to think if I know anyone who has.
Yeah.
I know people who's talked about doing it.
Yeah, Amber, weren't you going to do it?
No, that was the Recruit 20.
Oh, that was the 20 and 30, right?
Yeah, the Amy and
Yeah.
I talked about. Yeah.
The 20 and 30, yeah. Me and Cindy had that discussion a long time ago that we were going to do that, and that never happened.
No, that's what Amy and I had too.
We've had that. That is part of his plan, the 20 and 30, yeah. I don't know. It's one of those things. If I'm going to commit to something, I'm usually going to do it. So a lot of times those kind of things scare me off because I know for me what it would take for me as a mom with 3 kids and my responsibilities that are on my plate. There's nothing wrong with those. And if you can do them, then by all means, go for it. Let me know how it works out. I just, I think it's a huge thing to take on, especially a lot of times for mamas and
Right.
things that we already have going on. But I do know what you're talking about. I'm trying to think if I know anybody who's done it. Me and Cindy talked about it a long time ago, and we talked about doing it over the summer because we're like, our kids aren't going to be in school, and then the summer hits and we're like, oh my gosh, we're busier in summer than we were during the school year.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have not done it, but It's a great idea.
Okay. Well, any other questions before we go, guys? Guys, anything at all? Don't be afraid to ask. Wait here another minute or two. Let's see. All right. Anything?
Hey, I want to encourage you guys. We're going to do a team call on the Slim Sisters page on Thursday night with Jen Hawkins.
Yes.
So Jen Hawkins is who sponsored Celeste Gwynn. Celeste Gwynn is the only double diamond in the company. She's in your upline. She's just a few people up from me. So Jen Hawkins is her best friend from college who sponsored her. So we've had Celeste on a call. I'm super excited to hear Jen's story because I've heard her speak, but I've never actually really heard her story. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about it. I think y'all are going to love her, and I'm sure she's going to have great wisdom to share with us. So make sure you get on that call. I think it's going to be really, really good. I'm excited about it.
And that's Thursday at 8 your time or 7?
Thursday at 8:30.
Okay.
I don't remember.
I'll post it. Yeah.
We just posted on the Slim Sisters page. I cannot remember the time, and I don't have my calendar here in front of me.
That's okay.
So I want to say 8:30 Central.
Okay.
Maybe
so 9:30.
It may be 8 Central though.
Okay.
So,
I'll
check it out.
It.
Okay,
guys. All right. Well, if there's no other, oh wait, we have something. Oh yeah, 8:30.
Okay.
Thanks, Dave.
8:30 Central. So it'll be 9 your time, Amber. Yeah.
Yeah, 9:30. Okay.
9:30. Right. I mean.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if there's not any other questions, real quick, I don't hear anybody, then we will go ahead. And end this. And Jana, I really appreciate you sharing. I love hearing from you and all these great advice and everything. I really appreciate it. I know that we were all excited to hear from you. So.
Oh, you're welcome. I always feel, it's hard coming off of Lori Harrison last week. And I'm like, oh my goodness, they ought to just replay Lori Harrison's call because it was so stinking good.
Yeah.
So I hope maybe there's something y'all can take away from it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. So I appreciate it. You guys all have a great night. And Jana, thank you. And I will talk to you.
You're welcome.
Later.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.